everyone, it's Tiffany, and I just made this cute little mixed media journal using a mixed media journal kit from Grafix. And this is not the shape of the journal that they sent me. It's actually a 6x9, but I wanted to show you something that I made with this rectangular journal. I was able to cut it into a circular shape. There's another one. I was able to make two out of one book because I had this left over. So I was able to make this cute like rectangular, or maybe it's a tall book, and I'll be decorating its pages too sometime. But yeah, I just wanted to do a little flip through of this book. I used acrylic paint for the background, and I just did like some brayering and stuff on top of it, and then I did stenciling on top using a lot of the stencils from Megan Quinlan. She has many sets of some awesome stencils. One of my favorites is the house stencils. I, for some reason, just love the houses for the winter time, and I tried to, I don't know if that looks like snow or if it's in the clouds. Either way, I'm good, but I tried to make it look like it was in a bunch of snow, like my house currently is, with maybe some wind and snow falling. That's a lot of these they represent snow to me. So I used a lot of the houses and some other ones. I think it's called Moonlight Serenade, that particular stencil. But a lot of journaling areas too that I will go back and journal in. So that's where the white stencils come from. And I did not pre-plan the pages as far as, knowing this is clear, so it's going to show through to the other side until I finished with the background. But you can kind of see that I did not cover up everything, and it literally is just a little bit of paint just smudged on there. It was very fun to just take some paint, put it on, spread it out, and be done, and just go grab the next color. That's really what I did. It was super, super simple. And then, of course, the stenciling on top, I think, is what makes it really nice. So some of these pages, I love this one. I love the feel of this one. It reminds me of vellum. It's translucent. So the kit comes with these assorted pages, and they are plastic. So one of the things I loved about working with this plastic is that, I don't know if you can tell, there are some places where I scraped the paint off. I'll show you when I get to it, which was pretty cool. If I made a mistake, I could always just scrape it off. I like this see-through pages. You can kind of get a glimpse of the house behind. And then the next page has the house. Oh, actually, both of those houses were on the next page. Oh, here, so this was just, this lighter paint was on here, and I thought that was a great place to put this house, so I put this stencil on, and I just scraped the paint off afterwards. So let me see if my phone will focus on that. And I just took a metal skewer, and I just scrubbed where the lines, where the paint would go here. I just scrubbed it. And some areas to go back and do some journaling in. Here's another one of those. Oh, this is actually a clear page. It's glossy on this side, matte on this side, or maybe is it matte because I put paint on this side? I don't know. I like that it's I like that it's glossy on one. Probably glossy until I put the paint on there. So here's one where I only have the one tree on this side, but then I put 2 more behind it. And that was thought out after I had done the background again, because I didn't want to make it too difficult. So the background part was easy, and then I just put it together and decided what I wanted and what was going to show through later on. Reorganized the pages if I needed to. Here's one where the word okay is on the back page. And all these sentiments are Megan Quinlan stencils too, which I love because I always have a hard time with figuring out what to say, which is why these are blank for now, but I'll go back in and write things down. But this gives me a starting point. And here's the back. This is chipboard, and that's always fun to paint on. So thank you, Grafix, for sending me this mixed media journal for me to try out. So I'm going to be working in this book, which I just have cut into the shape of a tag, as I show you how this kit can be used. It's gonna be odd because I'm gonna show you how to work in the book before and after I cut the book at the same time, because I have 2 of these kits. So what I prefer to do is cut all of these after I have some sort of paint on them. And so here's I'm just trying to flip through the different types of things in here. These are kind of translucent pages. These are the white. There's 2 of each. White, and they're all Duralar plastic. I love the black pages, by the way. And so when I'm working in these, I prefer to use these as the palettes for my paints, and then work into something else until the background of these are all grungy. That's how I get a nice grungy look for these types of pages. You could cut it out and work on it first, but it actually becomes useful in 2 ways if you work in it this way. And then, you know, you'll see after I get these grunged up, like I have some of these pages already grungy, you'll see how I work in them later as well. But I'm kind of doing both at the same time in this one. And then I'll show you how to cut this out. Cut out a shape out of this. I'm not going to cut the circle because that's going to be tedious for you to watch, but I just wanted to show you how easy it was to cut through even this thick chipboard. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get started. I don't know how many of these I'll need for a palette. Depends on how much paint I actually end up using. I'll just use 1 of each for now. Set the rest aside, set the covers aside, and just get started on some painting. And I'm just using some paints that I have mixed up previously, and some stencils that are from Megan Quinlan's stencil sets. They're from all of her sets. I have all the words because I love putting the words on. All right, so that's what I have. And now I'm just gonna kind of play some music and start working. You can see that I went ahead and took some of the leftover paint and I just painted using my sponge, also stenciled and just brayered some of these other papers that I had in my journal pack just to create some backgrounds. Okay, while I'm waiting for those to dry, I'm going to just take some leftover paint that I have, because I have quite a bit of leftover paint, and I'm just gonna paint the chipboard. And I'm just seeing, I like the covered, I like the completely covered look, but I also like this. So I think I want to do that. Let me try that on this one. I thought I was going to cover this completely, but I'm liking what it's turning out to be with the brush marks. I'll do the back the same way. And I'm just using acrylic paint and a dry paintbrush, one of my kind of more tattered brushes that I use to just scrub stuff like I am doing now. That just got a little bit of green on there, which is kind of cool. Maybe I'll add some more. Okay, I think that's all I will do. Well, maybe add a little bit more green to this side too, because I want it to match. Just a little bit. There we go. This one looks lighter than this one, but that's okay. That's what happens when you just randomly mix mix paint as you go. All right, I'll just leave that to dry and see how that looks. This is all dry now, and it's a little darker. I could have probably primed this with gesso first, but I didn't. But I am going to try to spray some of this on there just to lighten it up a little bit. I did use this Dilutions shimmer spray in this gold color. Oh, it's called Pure Sunshine for my other book, but I'm going to try this one. This one's called White Linen. So I've covered up my stencils because I don't want it to, well, I guess it doesn't really matter, but it'll get everywhere. So, yep, now I just need to let it dry and do the other side. Or maybe I should, I'm gonna just try turning it over and doing the other side because I don't wanna wait. We'll just try it out and see. It might be too much, but I feel like it's gonna soak into the cardboard, so we'll see what happens. These are all dry now, and I just wanted to show you what they look like. I didn't do the back But as I add some more paint to some of these to make layers, I'll just use the back as a palette. Unless they are kind of transparent or translucent, then I don't have to worry about the other side unless I want to add more. So these are just very grungy, very haphazard. There's nothing planned about any of that, as you can see. Just getting paint on. And then these ones I just stenciled on one side. And I think they're fun. I like the way these turned out. So what I can do with this set is I can just start layering things together to see what I like as far as, you know, what I like the see-through part to be, what combination of see-through and non-see-through will look the best. And I do have kind of a right side and a, like this is the top. I made this a little bit smaller than this, so I can't flip it over. This isn't going to match up, so I have to be careful that I am using the correct part. Kind of like this as maybe a separate layer, and then using one of these like that. So now I have that, and you can still see the moon through part of this also. That one. Ooh, that's fun. Like this. Kind of like that. And let's try this. So this one I did use as a paint palette on this side. If I feel like it's too much white, oh, actually I like this. If I did feel like there was too much white here, I can scrape some of that off, or I can just take a hand sanitizer and put it on a rag, and I have just wiped the paint off with hand sanitizer. Okay, I'm gonna do this. And I mean, this might not look all that great now, but I know I can do some more stenciling and writing and stuff on top of that. Oh, this goes like that. This goes like this. Okay, there we go. Or, yeah, no, I liked it like this because this is where the binding goes. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so let's see what the covers might look like. Mostly dry. Ooh, I like this. Pretty. So there is a front and a back. Of course, I do like the back better, but that's okay. I'm going to, I'm not gonna work on that part, so that's fine, and that I like that one better because I'm gonna cover up this one with more stenciling. And I am going to choose one of these because look at how cool that is with, this kind of looks like a snowy background. So I want to pick some of the more like wintry types of stencils in this set. You know, for some reason, oh, I love these guys, these people, but for some reason I feel like the houses are wintry. Should I do a house? It would go with my other house book, and then it could be a set. Maybe a house and a person, or a house and a tree. That might be fun. Big tree here and then a little house here, maybe. Okay, we'll try it out. We'll try it out without stacking that. Okay, I'm just going to use, what color? Something light white or off-white for this. I'm going to use this buff that I have, but I'm gonna use one of these as my palette again, because that's just a fun place to put my paints. Also, you just end up making a fun background. I'm looking for something that's a little bit too much color that I might want to just add some of this buff on top of to kind of, you know, make that go away. Tone that down or something. I'm looking for my sponge. There it is. So this got pretty crusty, so I'm gonna just cut that part off. Here's my scissors. Just gonna cut this off and keep using the same one. And okay, let's see. And I know the tree is right here and I kind of want to overlap, so let's see if I can do that. Yeah, it's a little crooked. That's pretty typical. And these actually I love. I think maybe this is why this stencil, this house stencil, reminds me of winter, because of these. They look like snowflakes. Okay, I like that. Maybe I'll add a little white border. Paint up some of this chipboard on the edges too while I'm at it. So now I have all this leftover paint and I can just spread it around with a brush or a brayer or something onto the other pieces or onto the backs. That's what I do. That's how I use these until they get all kind of grungy, and then I cut them out. While I'm waiting for those to dry, I'll show you just how I decorate these with some words or spaces to write. And again, I just love these stencils with the words already on them because I always seem to be able to find the perfect thing that I want to say in one of these sets of stencils. I may have 2 different sets here. So I think there's 2 sets of 3 each. So, oh, see, it's a moon here and it says, I know the sun will rise tomorrow. So I'm going to try to stencil that on. Kind of straight, maybe. All right, this time I'm not going to put my paint on those other pages of my journal, or else I'll have to spend a long time waiting for all that to dry. All right, I'm gonna be careful that I don't use too much paint when I stencil this because the words are pretty small on this one. And I want to make sure that nothing bleeds underneath. I can always go back in with another layer if I have to. But it's hard to wipe away too much paint on these stencils, on any stencils, so we'll see how that goes. Yay, perfect. And then spraying it with a little shimmer spray or adding a little, maybe some stars with Posca pens would be fun. So I'm not going to work through all that because I do want things to dry pretty quickly so I can show you the whole thing. And I wanted to show you on some of these that have backs where you can't see through it. So I'm trying to keep it in order after I spent all that time getting them in the correct order. I like to use these stencils with the lines, and you don't even have to use paint for these. You can just use a permanent marker, or you could even use a Sharpie and just put the lines in. I have some paint right here that's dark that I need to use up, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. There, now I can come back and do something on this later, or add a little something to this part too, or I can stencil in something now. Okay, so just wanted to show you that while my other journal is drying, and now I'll show you how easy it is to cut. So when I made my circle journal, I just traced a circle and I just, looked to see how many tabs I could include. I think I included 4 tabs, and I ended up just extending the lines here and just tracing and cutting. So it really is like that easy. It's not tough. I don't want another circle journal. So I hope you don't mind if I cut this into a different shape. I think I just want a square one. So I'm gonna cut this one into a square. Let me measure what I have here. So this is 6, and this is 6 going this way, so that's easy. But I'm gonna cut this as if it were like a circle, or, you know, one where I would have to trace it, which I do anyway, because this thick cardstock, it's hard to cut in any sort of cutter that you might have, unless, you know what I do have that would cut this is my rotary cutter. So if you have a rotary cutter and you know, quilting supplies, or just have one just for whatever, you can, you know, go over this multiple times and cut it that way. That's pretty easy. But you can just cut this with scissors too. One thing you do want to know or take note of is that, so this is what I was talking about here when I said that there's clearly a bottom and a top, because this part is smaller than this part here with whatever I have left over. Same thing with this. This is not the exact same as this. So there's gonna clearly be a top and a bottom. And you'll just have to make sure that all your pages, you know which one's the top and which one's the bottom if you want to work on them separately like this. So this is the only time that you can interchange whether you put it in this way or this way. After you cut it, you can't, after you cut this and these. Okay, so if you want to get like a nice clean line, you can use a straight edge like this, and then an X-Acto knife, and you can go over this multiple times, or you can just use a pair of scissors. Now this is not even my sharpest pair of scissors, and it cuts through this chipboard pretty easily. So you really don't need anything special. and your circles can get cut out just like this too. And then, you know, if you don't like this edge, you can always take a piece of sandpaper and just sand that down. There you go. I'm gonna round my edges. Maybe I'll do this. Let me draw this out and see. Oh, that's kind of fun. Let me try that. Just lining up the edge of this and the edge of this. Oh, nice circle. Okay, so now you'll see. Yeah, these scissors are not the best. They got paint on them and stuff. Let me use my actual good scissors. It'll be easier. Some scissors are better than others. And then on a curve, I'm just gonna take it nice and slow. Turn the chipboard. Keep your scissors still. And this is all you would have to do for a circle. Just keep going all the way around. There. And the edge is nice and smooth. And then for the rest of these, super easy. Just trace. Make sure the holes line up. And once the holes line up, all you have to do is trace. These are very easy to cut. If you don't want it flush with your covers, you can cut, you know, a little bit on the inside of the line, but I don't care. That's it. Yeah, you do want to use a nice thin marking tool, because you can see that I could probably trim off just a little bit here. You could do that with an X-Acto knife too. But you can see how if I tried to turn it this way and match it up, it's not gonna quite match. So it's always gotta be this way now. All right, so I hope that gives you enough instruction to make a cute little book. That's what I did with my tag book. So here's my tag book, and to get all the discs back on, it's easiest to do one at a time. Do all the discs for the bottom, and then the middle pages are pretty easy. Put them all on one at a time. Or, like I said, the middle pages are pretty easy. So as long as they're all stacked up nice, you can put them all on, all the middle pages at once. Then this last one. There you go. I'll probably add some ribbon or something through the hole of each one. So here's how my tag book turned out. And I'll be adding more to it. I'll add more stenciled words and more written words. So there's that. And there's the start of this book that I'll finish up. And there's the circle book. All right, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this little tutorial, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I am on Instagram, and I would love for you to find me there and follow me on Instagram. I'm at Tiffany Simply Sharp. And I plan to keep working on these journals and finish the pages, and I'll be showing many more photos over there on Instagram. Bye.